They're really fighting for a playoff spot here. The Sharks having played this being one of their later matches, so we're going to find out how this is going to go. Partner forward here. And they're off. Southwest Florida Sharks versus the Tampa Bay Brigade. They're starting off with snatches. Quadrant 1 is going to be 135 pounds for the men, 5 of those before the women move on to 95 pounds. As quickly as possible, your partner must be in the hash box before you move on. We are looking at Garrison Matthews for the Tampa Bay Brigade and Nick Shappy for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Tampa Bay Brigade 1 rep ahead of the Brigade of the Sharks going into this one. Isabella Carvalho already making work. Chelsea Raineri not too far behind as the Brigade move into Quadrant 2 before the Sharks.
And I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the Sharks over here. I was talking to Coach Fico, and he called his team the hospital right now because a lot of their male athletes are dealing with a lot of injuries right now. And Nick Shappy, one of the leaders in last year's MVP, is dealing with a hip injury. So I'm going to be looking to see if that hip is going to affect him any.
Absolutely. That is a 24-inch box for the females here on the grid in that second quadrant as the Brigade are already tagging out for their next players. Alex Hollings takes control of the bar, number 25 here on your screen, while Blake Kidder comes up on your screen over here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. He's actually dealing with some kind of forearm elbow injury. As we saw yesterday, he kind of irritated it. Here's Kyra Milligan for the Sharks as they try to catch up with the Brigade as the Brigade are almost an entire element ahead. A fault for Blake Kidder here. 4 reps remaining for him as the Brigade cross into the 4th quadrant already. The Sharks are not really known for, you know, losing too many partner forwards.
Yeah, and they had to make some last-minute changes. Valerie Gunning was supposed to be in this partner 4, but then they had a last-minute change with putting Kyra in there because Val had a little bit of struggle with yesterday's match, and they just want to be safe there.
That's right, and the Brigade are going to take this partner forward. Alex Hollings and Ariana Durham taking it home for them. Tampa Bay with their win against the Southwest Florida Sharks here. The Southwest Florida Sharks are going to finish under the time cap and get that 1 point. But one important thing to mention, Taylor, this was the playoffs last year to get the Sharks into the championship match. They were going against the Brigade, and the Brigade were giving it everything, and we're getting closer and closer to potentially taking that championship spot. But the undefeated at the time Sharks, they took that one away from them. So this one's a little bit personal for the Brigade for coming back for that one. And the Sharks are kind of nursing their injury and nursing their loss from yesterday, which I know was hard for them.
Yeah, and you're right. These two have a little bit of history, even going back to the Dallas match. The Dallas match came back to a rerun. It was extremely close with them, and with their Brigade really feeling as if they should have won that. So still, right now, the Brigade, Jess Craisman, I know her very personally, she is not scared of the Sharks. So, maybe some of the teams may be kind of scared just with their little track record or whatever, but Jess, she is up there. I'm looking at them right now, pouring fire into their team right now to keep their foot on the gas.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at those teams so we can talk some more about them.
All right, so I am going to be looking at Kyra Milligan. There she is right there. She is making her rookie debut this weekend. And yesterday she had a solid showing. And Fico said that this is going to be her coming out show today. I thought it was yesterday because she was in her first ringer, but she did a lot of work yesterday. But she is going to be probably in almost every single match. So going to be looking for her. I'm also going to be looking at Sydney Witter. Such a strong, talented athlete and one of the best on the team. And I'm going to be looking for her to be handling a lot of the barbell and also the gymnastics as being one of their most versatile athletes. And I'm also going to be looking at Zion Zafra. He had a great showing yesterday and picked up when one of their athletes, Chalkeen, actually re-injured his shoulder, but he was only supposed to do the back half. He has a lot more workload that he's going to be doing today. And the last person I'm going to be looking at real quick is Derek Anderson, who's actually going to be filling Blank's position in the flipper ringer.
Absolutely, a lot of talented athletes here on the grid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Tampa Bay Brigade.
First, I'm going to be looking at Nathan Tsuji over here. We saw him with the handstand with the Jack and Jill handstand where he almost pretty much did it as by himself. I'm also going to be looking at Alex Hollings. He's probably one of their main strength guys, and just going to see how his recovery is going to be. And lastly, I'm going to be looking at Bella Cavallo. So very versatile athlete. We don't really talk a lot about her, but she's very strong and athletic, and I'm just going to be looking for her to do a lot of work today.
Absolutely. We might see her now in the mirror. You're going to learn about it, and we're going to wait right here for you.
Mirror, the second race of every match, always features a barbell element. A male and a female barbell are placed in the first quadrant. Upon the start of the race, both are picked up by the team in any fashion by the 3 men and 3 women allowed in the race at any given time. Once the barbell leaves the ground, it may not touch the ground again until all reps are complete. If it does, the entire team must return to the start line before continuing. A set number of reps must be completed by both genders in each quadrant before the team can move on. Non-lifting players will act as the human rack to support the barbells as the team moves from quadrant to quadrant and switches performing players in the process as needed. Substitutions may happen at any time. Time stops when all reps are complete and the last player crosses the finish line. This strength-focused race has the most players on the grid at the same time and requires effective planning and practice to be executed well through coordination amongst players. Remember, don't drop the barbell in the mirror race.
For the mirror, they have the thruster mirror. For the men's weight, it's going to be 195 pounds. Women's weight is going to be 130 pounds. Each athlete is going to have to perform 10 reps in each quadrant, but they cannot move to the next quadrant until both athletes have finished.
Mirror, the second.
And they're off. 2 players facing each other, 1 male, 1 female working at a time. They're doing thrusters, so they have to squat all the way down before extending up to the top. 195 pounds for the men, 135 for the women. This is a lot. Not only is it a lot of reps, it's very, very fast. So while it might not seem very heavy, you have to move really fast, and you also have to use human racks, as we see here with the Brigade moving to the next quadrant. The Sharks have a slight lead going into the next quadrant. They're about 1 rep ahead, now 2 reps ahead. Garrett Matthews starting a little bit behind the Sharks here as he works with Jocelyn Williams. Meanwhile, Derek Anderson and Jesse Coleman over here for the Southwest Florida Sharks.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at both teams. Both teams are actually not moving as fast as you typically see them do. There's a lot of injuries on both sides, of course, a lot of travel issues. So there are both teams are up there. They're not even putting in their full rosters or their normal rosters. So it's going to be interesting. But they're also this day 2, so their bodies are a little beat up as well.
100%. And Nick Schaap, he's working over here with Valerie Gunning in that 3rd quadrant for the Sharks, and he's actually nursing a hip injury, but they're moving pretty fast comparably to the Brigade over there. 1 rep remaining for the males on the Brigade as the Sharks are already in the 4th quadrant. Barring any mistakes, this is going to be a Sharks win as they start having hands in the air here. Brigade are pretty far behind. They're going to have to really make it up and to make no mistakes. 2 reps remaining for the Southwest Florida Sharks. And that is a Southwest Florida Sharks win for the mirror. Brigade still working in that 4th quadrant, trying to go as quickly as possible. 4 reps remaining, but plenty of time left on the time cap for them to get that 1 point.
I think we're starting to see a little bit of the residual of yesterday's match coming in. Alex Hollings had to do a lot of the workload for the Brigade yesterday. Where they had to also bring in Dan Haberman, who is coming back from a knee injury. So their man was a little bit on the slower side, and the women had to wait for them. And so it just allowed the Sharks just to take their time in the 4th quadrant and close it out.
Definitely. So far, the score sits at 3 points for each team, 1 win for each, and they both finished under that time cap. A lot of exciting stuff happening, and speaking of excitement, you get to be a part of it now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ringer options, because later today, you have the option to see yours get put up. If you go right now to unitedgridleague.com/vote, you get to choose one of these ringers for the team to do. Right now, we are about to watch the flip sled. It's going to be 200 pounds for the females, 350 pounds for the males. It's going to be Derek Anderson from the Southwest Florida Sharks versus Alex Hollings of the Tampa Bay Brigade. 2 men, so 350 on each flip sled, and that is going to be this one right here. So as we watch this, you have until the end of this ringer point race to vote on which one you want to see. You have the option between the double kettlebell overhead, walking lunge, burpee box jump overs, legless rope climb, and the triple touches, because we will be seeing that med ball handstand walk later on today. Vote right now, unitedgridley.com/vote, as we prepare for this ringer point race. It's going to be Alex Hollings versus Derek Anderson. Two veterans. Derek Anderson, of course, the original member of the Southwest Florida Sharks. Alex Hollings, of course, being part of your team at one point, the Orlando Aces, who are no longer.
Yeah, Alex is a military guy, very strong, just a brute guy. He likes all the odd object work. And I was talking to him yesterday because he literally came in 20 minutes before his match from him and his wife having to drive all the way up here. So I know that he's still feeling a little bit tight, but he said he feels good to go. But Derek Anderson, he wasn't supposed to be here. It's supposed to be Blake. But Blake, like you've been saying, is dealing with that forearm injury. So I really haven't seen him on this other than the flip sled going back and forth. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in this ringer.
Absolutely, and another important thing to mention is that Alex Hollings is doing a lot of work on the strength side for the Tampa Bay Brigade. They're missing a few people, Seth Prohaska, and a few others. Yes, and they were supposed to be here this weekend, but the last minute, maybe like a week or two before they found out they weren't, they had to change their whole strategy. So we're going to go ahead and find out what is going to happen here, and you know, who's to say, because both these teams are really fatigued from yesterday.
Yeah, the first couple of matches, I think the first couple of matches you're going to see they're just trying to get warmed up, loosen up those joints a little bit there, but I think they're going to start coming to stride, coming into the echoes.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at those game faces on the grid and look at the flip sled here. That's 350 pounds total loaded up onto that flip sled. You can't accelerate when it drops, right? You can't accelerate and push it when it bounces.
Yes, so you have to wait until I think it is when it controls down, but you can push it, but you can't. I'm trying to remember the rules. If you can pick it up on the way up, or if you have to wait for it to settle, but you can still have your hands on the flip sled.
There we go. You're testing it out right now. Tampa Bay Brigade versus the Southwest Florida Sharks. Veteran versus veteran. And Derek Anderson, he was the one that brought the championship home for the Southwest Florida Sharks last season when they did the championship match against the Lions. And that was just a really emotional moment for the whole team, a full circle for him, too.
It was. They used their super wild card on him to have him close it out to bring in their first one. That was pretty awesome to see.
That was awesome. And it's impressive that they were able to keep their super wild card for so long, too. They were just like, yeah, we're going to use it for, you know, the storytelling.
Exactly, which
that's
was beautiful.
Super cool.
So
yeah.
beautiful.
Love that. As they prepare on the grid, remember, you can be voting right now, unitedgridley.com/vote. Don't forget, this is your last chance. At the end of this ringer point race, the voting is going to close. You could have the effect on the outcome of this matchup now. Once again, score is 3-3.
30 seconds.
30 seconds until the start of the action here as we get ready.
20 seconds.
A lot of game faces here as they prepare to do this at the end. Few Tampa Bay Brigade players waiting at the end to cheer on their teammate once they finish. Who do you think will win? Let's find out. And they're back. Alex Hollings, Derek Anderson, flip sled. Derek Anderson has it one flip ahead of Alex Hollings already. He is just not stopping. He has his hand on the thing before it even controls, but he's staying within the standards. Loss of control just a little bit. You have to make sure it's in the middle of the grid. Alex Hollings kind of veering off to the side, which is dangerous because if it comes off the grid, you have to push it back on. Derek Anderson, one more flip, and he is finished. Last one as he goes into the finish line, and that is a Southwest Florida Shark ringer point win.
That was good. He just turns around and is like, yeah, that's what I do right here. And I was actually watching Derek Anderson's technique, and he actually utilized more of an underhand grip. I was looking at Alex. Alex was more of an overhand. It's going to be very hard to kind of leverage that and get underneath it. So Derek was able to almost like bicep curl, but also get underneath it and lift it up higher.
Exactly.
So he's a taller, longer guy, and he was able to leverage that his length to be able to push it hard. So we'll have to see if if Alex was within that 20% rule.
Exactly.
And if they were within that 20% rule, they'll get 1 point. If not, they'll earn 0 points.
Of course, and 20%, of course, referring to the finish time
Yep.
of Derek Anderson, who did win that one. Exciting stuff. It's up in the air right now. What do you think is going to happen next? But in the meantime, you're going to learn about the Echo and why it echoes.
Echo, echo.
The Echo race is made up of 4 stations of elements that each must be completed before moving on in the race. 1 male and 1 female are allowed on the grid at any given time, but only 1 player at a time can perform reps. Substitutions may happen at any time. Once the Echo race is complete, get ready, because the same race will be repeated 45 seconds later. This race is about managing fatigue with your best players and leveraging roster depth to keep performance at a max pace through the second Echo. Remember, get ready to do it again in the Echo race.
Welcome back, friends. We're getting ready for the Echo, and of course it's called the Echo because they echo.
Echo, echo.
That's a fun one. We're going to see it happen 2 times, 45 seconds in between. Even if there's a challenge, it won't run until after the second Echo. We saw it happen countless times yesterday.
Oh my God.
A lot of exciting Echoes this weekend, and I'm sure that this one today, with everything that these teams have on the line, is going to be the same story here.
This Echo is so brutal. Between the Echo and the Triads, those are like 2 of the worst races to rerun. In yesterday's sprint relay, which is almost seems like everybody was trying to rerun that one.
Definitely. And, you know, everybody's fired up. We're here at the American Dream in New Jersey, and they came here to get work done. But let's go ahead and see what work they're going to do in this race.
All right, so for the Echoes, the men and women are going to share a 205-pound bar for 30 reps. The men will be performing cleans, and the women will be performing deadlifts. Then they're going to go into a new movement, toes over a bar to bar muscle up for 20 reps. That's going to be followed by a 15-foot rope climb for 6 reps. And then men and women are going to share, again, a 165-pound bar for 30 reps. Men will be performing ground to overhead, and the women will be performing cleans.
That's right, Taylor. It's going to be a good one. Where do you suspect somebody could either catch up or fall behind here in this match format?
I'm always going to say it always comes down to the middle, the body weight movements, and especially this new movement that they just added this year, the drop kick, is where you have to start with the toes have to be over the bar there, and then you go immediately into a muscle up. It's been pretty cool to see the teams that are able to do a little waterfall with that. So I think the team that can do that the cleanest and get to the rope climbs first will have a huge advantage at that barbell.
Absolutely, and it's going to be like a toes to bar, but except your toes are over the plane of the bar. So, you know, your range of motion is probably going to be important here. When we see people like Arturo of the Palms do this, it's pretty crazy because he's just such a long athlete. But both of these teams have very great and very small range of motion body weight specialists. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this one together as well.
Yeah, and I was talking to Fico, and he was saying to look out for Chelsea Raineri and Roger Holloway. And both of them are gymnasts and very talented in gymnasts, even though Roderick is a little bit on the taller side. Yeah. But they have a great flow and rhythm, so he said to keep our eyes out on them.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and take a look at those game bases as we approach this race. Going into this, the score is now 5-3. So it looks like Alex Hollings actually did not finish within 20% of Derek Anderson, which is pretty crazy for a flip sled. We're going to find out who's going to take this first Echo 1 starting in just a second. Going to be starting off going straight into those cleans. Deadlifts for women.
Ready. Players ready. Stand by. Race!
And they're off. Deadlifts for women. That's going to bring out Sydney Witter for the Sharks and Jocelyn Williams for the Brigade. Doing the deadlift is going to give you time to, you know, it's a shorter range of motion, so you could just blast them out fast. And as you can see, their men counterparts, one man, one woman out on the grid at the same time, are already waiting to do that gymnastics. Since they're so close to the start line, they're able to just tag out for women. But it looks like the Sharks have a big lead going into this next element here.
Yeah, when you have the strong women that both teams do, why not utilize them? But the Sharks, when you see Sydney Witter on the other side when it comes to deadlifts, that's not somebody that you want to see over there. But the Brigade, they definitely held their own. But now you see Chris Chaffee and Marissa Oxenford, their original Jack and Jill, they are, I think Chris is doing a shin over the bar, not even a toe over the bar, a shin over the bar. Oh my
Knees over bar.
goodness.
And to be fair, Roderick Holloway is pretty high up there as well. Chesley Raineri as well. I mean, these are beautiful waterfalls. These are absolutely insane on both teams. Whoa. And they are at the same part. Whoa, look how high. Sam Tovar just jumped. Sam Martin, sorry, just jumped to get up there. That is absolutely insane.
They both look like Superman up there. And
they were Spider-Man, and they're here in New York, and they did not come to play, friends. That grab, wow, we should have to have the instant replay on that. Kyra Milligan taking over, Nick Shappy coming in, and Garrison Matthews taking over as well, as there's one rep remaining for the Southwest Florida Sharks. The height that Sam jumped to just gave them the craziest lead going into this barbell movement. Kyra Milligan already on the barbell. She's going to have to cycle just a little bit faster, though. Rebecca Rouse knowing a little bit more about grid speed and able to drop her elbows straight into the bottom for the hang as well.
Oh my goodness, I'm still trying to get over Sam in the rope climb, Sam and Dalton. But yeah, Kyra is taking a bigger workload, but she is a CrossFit Games athlete, so this movement isn't bad for her, but knowing grid speed and the amount of, and how fast that you need to go and differing that from CrossFit speed is a little bit different, but she did very well.
Absolutely. Ground to overheads here for the men. Dan Haberman is slightly smaller than Zion Zafra, but Zion Zafra is doing also a
clean grip.
Close grip. Yeah, close grip snatch here going into that. Jesse Coleman taking over the barbell now as Brittany Latham takes over the barbell for the Tampa Bay Brigade. Few reps remaining. It looks like the Brigade were able to make up a little bit of time here. One rep remaining for the Brigade, two for the Sharks, and the Brigade are going to take Echo 1. Coming back from that small lead that the Sharks had on them for a second, Taylor.
Oh my goodness. You know what I said about it's gonna come down to the middle? Nope. This team was pretty even in that middle. Their drop kicks look so good and so strong, and their rope climbs on both sides. They arguably have probably some of the fastest rope climbers on each side there. So between Dalton and Sam, I saw Sam look at his hands. I don't know if he burned them.
I saw that too.
So we'll see if anything changes on this, but he jumped up and covered half the grid there, but him going up against Dalton, that was a sight to see.
That's going on Sports Center. That was so crazy, absolutely. 30 seconds until the start of Echo 2. Very small time difference in Echo 1, so we're going to see if somebody's able to come back and maybe close that gap a little bit or lengthen that gap if the Brigade take this one. Great comeback from both of these teams, and this is where the experience really shows. This was where you saw how competitive they are and just how good their communication is for these veteran teams.
Players ready. Stand by. Race.
And they're off, of course, doing the same strategy as last time. Sydney Witter, Isabella Carvalho over here on the grid for the Brigade, and their male counterparts once again waiting to do those gymnastics. And you love to see the men waiting to do gymnastics, especially somebody as big as the Roderick Holloway. As these women chip away, you have to extend fully at the top. It looks like Isabella was struggling a little bit with her lower back, not able to get fully in there, but Jocelyn Williams is taking over for her. Sydney Witter just blasted out a set of 16 really fast as Kyra Milligan takes over. She is a shorter athlete, so pretty easy for her, and she's doing that real fast as well.
So it's looking very similar to what we saw in Echo 1, where the Sharks had a slight lead, but we already saw that lead doesn't mean much when you have Chris and Marissa on the other side. So they just got their rhythm here. So I forget what I said about the middle. Look at the barbell side, because they're pretty even and stacked in that middle.
Absolutely, and they were messing up the waterfall a little bit, so they were getting faults on a few of those reps. You really have to make sure that you're doing the right thing here. Roderick Holloway is going to come off. Chelsea Raineri is going to finish as Marissa Oxenford finishes on the other side. Brigade with the lead here going into this one. Dalton Herrero going really fast on that first rope climb. That gives them a full element ahead of the Southwest Florida Sharks in the second echo for this. Sam had to do a big set on the last time and on this one. Once again, it's legless, so you don't get to use your legs to help you. Isabella Carvalho on the other side, she gets to do regular rope climbs here as Garrison Matthew takes over. Breezy Lane's taking over for the Southwest Florida Sharks. 2-rep lead that the Brigade have here.
Yeah, and with the rope climbs, if you have 1 or 2 reps, that is an easy 5 to 6 second lead right there. And the Brigade is going to need that right now. And right now, they are chipping away at that barbell with Alex Hollings about to take that bar. And so you really don't want to see Alex or Rebecca and then Brittany coming in just waiting to close it out on the Brigade side.
Definitely. There might be a challenge here from Fico on those reps for the waterfalls drop kips. But the Brigade have a healthy lead over here. Alex Hollings finishing as quickly as he possibly can, and Breezy Lane's trying to keep up as quickly as she can. Few reps remaining for both of these teams. Tampa Bay Brigade with at least 5 reps ahead of the Southwest Florida Sharks. They're going to have to move really fast. Nick Shappy, he's been MVP, and he is really working hard to try to keep up with the speed of Brittany Latham's cleans over here. They're going at just about the same speed, with Brittany dropping just a tiny bit faster since it is a shorter range of motion. Kyra's going to be taking over. There she goes. She's much faster at cycling the barbell. She understands it now. Hands up in the air for the Tampa Bay Brigade. 1 rep remaining. No hand in the air for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Easy win for the Tampa Bay Brigade ahead of the Southwest Florida Sharks in Echo 2. 1 rep remaining for Kyra Milligan, 1 rep remaining for Nick Shappy from the Sharks, and they are going to finish under the time cap.
Ooh. This is how we're starting off already. Wow. The Brigade know that they need every single race in order to keep this, in order to make up for the back half and also for their lack of strength, that because they only have Alex Hollings, who's the most able-bodied. Dan Haberman, he's been doing a really good job, but he still has that knee injury. So I was telling him he has to move with attention. He can't really move fast or have any quick jerks, so they got to be very intentional with where they put him. But that was those 2 very important races that they just picked up.
Absolutely. That was huge for them, especially considering, you know, what happened yesterday, and
Still don't know what's happening.
and especially going against the Sharks at a team like the Sharks. But there is a review on the floor, flag on the floor. Thank you, Brandon, for throwing that on the floor for us and making sure that we get that visual. He is back, our head referee. Glad to hear we did have some closures in Newark Airport, but it is back. Not sure what is being reviewed, but we're going to find that out for you. I don't want you to go anywhere. Stay close.
Just to clarify what happened, the Sharks threw a challenge flag and they wanted to challenge a call on the floor. However, they are allowed to talk over what they want their challenge to be, and then they are allowed to recall the challenge. They chose to pick the challenge flag up and negate the challenge, so there is not a challenge.
All right, I think that was a good call. It's pretty early. You want it for later, and they rescinded it once they realized the time difference, which they did kind of slow down a little bit on that barbell at the end there. So good call from them. You're going to learn about the ladder. We'll be right back.
The ladder consists of 2 rows of 4 stations of a strength-based element, 1 row for males and 1 row for females. The weight increases as you move down the grid. Teams send out 1 player at a time, alternating male and female, to perform the designated lift for the match format. Each successful lift has a point value that is added to the team's ladder score. The point value is equal to the quadrant the barbell is sitting in. Players are allowed 1 lift attempt per quadrant and may skip any quadrant they choose, but are never allowed to backtrack once a barbell is passed. The team with the highest total point value at the end of the 4-minute time cap wins. This race is one of the most strategic and coach-reliant of all of the races. As a good game plan and in-the-moment decision-making, to manage time is everything. Remember, lift heavier and score higher in the ladder race.
Peachy athletic shorts, guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. And it makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
So I still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Sam Martin, the captain of the Southwest Florida Sharks, one of the captains. I just wanted to talk about this really quick. The way that you jumped onto the rope from basically the top of the rope, can you tell me about what you were thinking and what you were aiming for in that moment? Because you guys were kind of running towards the rope at the same time there.
Yeah, my goal was just to get as high as I can and do the least amount of pulls possible. My fault was I jumped into it as opposed to vertical, and that's why I looked a little bit like George of the Jungle swinging on that rope. So that first was on me. The second set I corrected it, and it was much more efficient.
Awesome. And talk to me a little bit about morale going into today. You took your first loss in the regular season ever in a few years, knowing that you're a strong team, knowing that you're a championship caliber team, and going against the team that you went against in the playoffs last season.
For the first time taking a loss, we didn't really keep our heads down. We were more invigorated by it. I think we were a little bit more excited to see what it felt like, and a reminder that anybody can get humbled at any point. And it was a humbling moment for us, and it just kind of drove us to give it a little bit more effort this next match. So that's what we're doing now.
Absolutely, and a lot of fatigue from yesterday. Talk to me about the state of your team and going into this match. Is there some fatigue, tiredness there?
First night, a lot of us got in at 2 a.m. with 4 hours of sleep. Some people showed up at 9 a.m. that morning. So body batteries are below 30, 40%. And we still did a good effort. Last night, 8 hours of sleep, good breakfast, maybe lingering, but we're not going to let that stop us. We'll show up and make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck on the rest of your match. Tell us what we can expect on the ladder.
All right, for the ladder, we have the ground to overhead ladder, meaning they can take the bar and then go a cleat and jerk or a snatch, as long as that bar goes from ground to overhead. The men's weight is 225, 250, 275, and 300 pounds. The women's weight goes 135, 155, 175, and 195. Each athlete will have an opportunity to accumulate as many bars as they can, earning points, and for that respective bar in that quadrant. If they hit the bar in the first quadrant, they earn 1 point. Hit the bar successfully in the fourth quadrant, they earn 4 points. Each athlete has the opportunity to gain 10 points for their respective team. on this, so they are very confident, and I think I heard some chatters of them possibly trying to go for a perfect ladder, meaning everybody clearing all 4 quadrants. So let's see if they're gonna do it.
That is some tea there, Taylor. And it looks like the Tampa Bay Brigade had a slight lead, but they lost it with Zion Zafra. He faulted, but he finished anyway, so that's going to also cost them a little bit of time. Angel Serrano finishing over there on the other side for the Tampa Bay Brigade, clearing that ladder as Brittany Latham picks up the bar for the Tampa Bay Brigade. Meanwhile, we're looking at Valerie Gunning here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. So it looks like the Sharks are not going to have a perfect ladder here with Zion faulting there. He got it halfway up, and then it brought down to his shoulder, but you have to do the move. You have one chance to do the move, and that's all you get.
I know, like, it looked like they counted it, but I'm like, they're probably going to rescind it at the end. But either way, everybody else is looking very strong. We'll see what Blake's forearm is doing. He actually skipped the last bar yesterday, but I think this one's going to be a little bit easier for him to manage.
Definitely. Blake Kidder coming out. He's nursing a forearm injury. Pretty strong, but Dan Haberman just vaulted out on the other side of the grid. Let's see if he goes for this 4th bar, and it looks like he is. He's hyping himself up, going a little slow, maybe a lot slower than he usually does. Oh, he is injured. Oh, man, that is not good for the Sharks here. Looks like the Tampa Bay Brigade have a slight lead according to our beta testing scores. A lot of faults on that 4th quadrant for the Sharks, and they might be losing their bonus flag points to the Brigade here. Rebecca Rouse, and she is going to clear that bar. Jesse Coleman's going for that 4th bar as well. Good clean, and that is a good rep for Jesse Coleman over here. Alex Hollings going to take the grid on the opposite side for the Tampa Bay Brigade.
Yeah, so I just watched Alex Hollings skip the 1st bar. He's a strong athlete, and usually every team strategy is going to be different if you're going to hit the 1st bar for a quick, easy 1 point, or if you're going to skip it just to kind of save time and also energy so you can have it for that last bar, and then choose to be successful as Alex hits that 4th bar.
This might be bad for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Derek Anderson actually made it for this, but it looks like Blake Kidder is nursing that injury a lot tougher than he did yesterday. He walked off the grid right now, holding onto his forearm. Just a little inside scoop for you so you can know what to expect at home. Jocelyn Williams going for that 4th bar. That's a good clean. Can she jerk it? Of course she can. That is a good rep for the Tampa Bay Brigade. Looks like they have a slight lead going into this one. Kyra Milligan going for that 4th bar on the ladder. That is a good rep for Kyra. Two ladder clears for her first time on the grid this weekend. Garrison Matthews on the opposite side for the Tampa Bay Brigade in that 3rd quadrant. Going as quickly as possible. They have to maintain their lead here if they want to take away the Southwest Florida Sharks. The Southwest Florida Sharks are going to have to get them some fire under them for this. But I know Roderick Holloway is coming, so that's going to be good for them. Nick Shappy going pretty fast on that overhead. Garrison Matthews falling out. This might just be the opening they need. 27 seconds left on the time cap here. Nick Shappy nursing an injury to his hips. That was a hard clean for him. Pretty easy jerk though. Isabella Carvalho doing that 4th quadrant. Sydney Witter going straight for the 3rd. Good strategies here from both teams about how many points they need. Sydney Witter going for the 3rd. She's going to try for the 4th, setting up really hard. Dalton Herrero starting on the 2nd. Good rep for Sydney Witter as she clears that. And Roderick Holloway ran out of time. Unofficially, it looks like the Sharks were able to get that lead back, Taylor.
Oh my goodness, that was a close one to call. We'll see what the official score is right there, because the Brigade women, they were strong. I think the majority of them almost hit all the bars, especially that 4th quadrant bar. The Sharks had a little bit of a slow build up, but they looked a lot stronger on the back end. I think their back end was a little bit faster where they're able to get through more athletes, so I think they may have squeaked it out, but we'll see what happens when the official scores come in. Oh my.
Absolutely. We're going to get that score tabulated for you. We're getting ready for this next race. It's going to be the ringer points. But first, before we get into specialists on specialists, let's go ahead and see those gym shout-outs. And here are our partner gyms. Everyone here is either affiliated with an athlete, a coach, or a player, or is, you know, an athlete, coach, or player on the grid, or knows somebody. So these are some awesome gyms that you can go and talk to, nerd out with some people about grid. Let's go ahead and go to the other graphic. I'm part of Team Omnia personally. That's actually a USAW weightlifting gym owned by Paul Bear. He is the coach and owner of the Las Vegas Venom.
And I am a coach and a member of JC Fit up here in Jersey City, New Jersey. And I just also want to shout out CrossFit 4-on-1 who came in deep yesterday with the New York Wolves. And also 908 Athletics is over here in Jersey as well, too. And long time grid appearance of Tim and Aaron Carroll. Got CrossFit Secaucus, Black Bear Athletics, CrossFit Salis, just trying to give some love to the Northeast crews up here in Union City CrossFit.
Yep, we're getting that ladder score for you in just a second. It looks like Fico Gomez is deciding whether or not he wants to throw a challenge flag. He's talking to some people. They're kind of laughing. I don't know if it's a joke or what is happening. But in just a second, we're going to hear from Kendrick.
And the fan-voted ringer point is in as we wait for the scores for the ladder. Here's how it works. Out of total 6 ringer point options, each coach locks in one, and we put the remaining to a global fan vote. Players and coaches, listen up. It is 3 legless rope climbs. Our men are gonna have to go legless up the rope, 15 feet, women 12 feet into the air. It's going to be an exciting race to watch.
Wow, that's going to be a good one. You voted. We found out about it. We're going to do those legless rope climbs.
I'm excited to see if anything looked like that echo, and we could potentially have 2 of the fastest rope climbers with Dalton Herrero and Sam Martin going head-to-head, but that is also right after the men's triad. So we'll see how fresh they'll be after that, or if they're going to utilize a woman.
Absolutely. Dalton Herrero is extremely good at those rope climbs as well, so that's going to be a fight, especially since it's from a dead stop, and it's just them two. Everything is reliant on that. But there is a challenge flag on the floor. I want to find out what that is for you, so I'm going to come right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We have some news for you. It looks like the Sharks are challenging one of the final reps in the 4th quadrant for the Tampa Bay Brigade, which means that they would take away 4 points from them if they get it right. But if they don't, they lose their challenge flag.
Yes, yes. So
and their bonus flag, because they did throw the bonus flag for that, too. They lose both their flags.
Yeah, yes, very much so. This is very risky because they still don't know what the score is. And so they could have won. So it's like, why did they throw it? But also, they also knew that it was very close. So this may have been a good, smart move if, in fact, they did take it away and it did switch it and they were actually in the lead. It could have been, this could be a very good challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, this has been a dogfight. I don't think anybody, I think people expected it to be close, but I didn't think they'd expect the Brigade to essentially be dominating here.
Oh my gosh, it's still early.
Yeah,
It's still
and it really
early.
is. We're about to reach the second half of the match. But as we find out more information, we can't give you the ladder score quite yet, just because they're still
Trying to
finding
figure
it
it
out,
out.
and they're going to see if the challenge stands. So that would also change the score. A lot of things at play here as they review the rule book and the reps on the grid as well. So we'll find out in just a second. I don't want you to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Unlike American football or baseball, where positions are very clearly defined with rules specific to them, grid league positions are more general. Think of it as a spectrum with a 4-foot gymnast on one end and a 400-pound strongman on the other, with every possible size, shape, and skill set focus filling in the middle. Roles on the grid have a lot of crossover from position to position, and there are many possible combinations that will yield a great team. Grid league has 3 primary players. Utility players generally have a wide range of abilities and end up with a diverse set of assignments on the grid. Utility players, although often assigned more total work than specialists, will still focus on their best movements as their means to contribute to the team. The strength specialist role often involves heavier assignments and, depending on the player's background, may be even more focused to individual types of strength movement, such as Olympic weightlifting or strongmen. Most of the super high-skill movements like backward roll to support in deficit, freestanding handstand push-ups are performed by bodyweight specialists. That said, there are several bodyweight specialists that mainly focus on more basic
The race result will stand.
movements, but for
So now they have... Friends, we have an update for you. So it looks like the Sharks lost their bonus flag and their challenge flag. The Brigade take it by 1 point, 79-80. A lot of faults on the Sharks side for the end. The Brigade just found out that they won, and they are stoked about it. That was awesome. Jess is fired up.
You would think that Jess just won the championship right there.
She just won the Super Bowl. No big deal.
Huge upset. You would have thought the Bills won.
Yeah. She said Josh Allen.
Josh Allen for the win.
Right. No, but that's awesome for them. Unfortunate for the Sharks since they lost both of their flags right now, so they have no more, no more tricks up their sleeve. You know, they don't have that magician little flag to pull out of them. Unfortunate, but that is the sport after the review. This next one is going to be an exciting one, though, and it's brought to you by Little Leaf Farms, the most modern greenhouse in the world to bring you sustainably grown local lettuce all year round. You can find out if there's a Little Leaf Farm near you by going to littleleaffarms.com. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ringers. So it looks like we are going to be doing the med ball handstand walk. This is going to be an exciting one, all right? This is going to be Nathan Tsuji for the Tampa Bay Brigade versus Valerie Gunning for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Now, this is going to be 10 pounds for Nathan Tsuji, 6 pounds for Valerie Cintron, sorry. I'm like, that's not her last name. I'm like, yes, it is. That is her new last name. Sorry, I keep on calling her Gunning, but it is Cintron now. Shout out to her. And they are going to be doing that handstand walk. Valerie has done this plenty of times. This is only Nathan's, I believe, second match ever. And he's shown himself to be very good at this. So we're going to see how this goes now.
Stand by.
And Brigade threw their bonus flag as well, too. So this race is actually worth 3 points. And you see Nathan is literally running away with this right now. This is a huge
Nathan Tsuji win for the Brigade. Wow!
A little showtime.
That is so crazy. Valerie Valerie Cintron, really good at this, but Nathan Tsuji is just an absolute animal on the grid with his ability to walk on his hands. He's definitely changing the game and somebody who's been a huge face when it comes to things like that. If you see him on Instagram, he's an absolute freak of nature, really impressive athlete. And, you know, they just have 2 bonus flag of points back to back, Taylor.
This is... This is not really what we expected, but it's grid, so you really can't really expect anything. And I already had Nathan Tsuji already as one of my athletes to watch, especially because of this format. And Valerie Cintron, she is an incredible athlete, especially in this. And I really don't think she's been beat before in this particular ringer point. But we haven't had anybody like Nathan Tsuji either.
Right.
So he just made that look like he was literally running on his hands. So that was incredibly fun to watch.
That was absolutely insane. Once again, the Brigade take the last 2 races. We're going to get that score tabulated for you and get that official for you in just a minute. Meanwhile, shout out for Little Leaf Farms for that ringer point for presenting now the most modern greenhouse in the world. Let's go ahead and learn about Jack and Jill. We'll be right back.
Jack and Jill features 3 stations of high-level body weight-based elements that increase in difficulty moving down the grid. 1 male and 1 female are allowed on the grid at any given time, and only 1 player can be working at a time. The team can only move on to the next station when the previous station is complete. This race is the simplest when it comes to rules, but the most reliant on player skill and speed, as the hyper-specialists often make the difference in the race. Remember, let the bodyweight ninjas fly in the Jack and Jill race.
Cook less and live more with rebuilt meals. Fresh, nutritious meals, chef-prepared and perfectly portioned to help you hit your macros. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning. No commitments and no contracts. Rebuilt Meals offers plans to satisfy any lifestyle. We offer gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free options, and the menu changes every week, so you'll never get bored. Let us do the cooking so you can do all the living. Visit rebuiltmeals.com and use promo code RebuiltReady for 50% off your first order.
It's starting to be run away from a little bit from the Sharks. The score is now 13 Brigade, 8 for the Sharks. This is the lowest score that they've had in years going into the back half of the race, and this is an absolute upset. It looks like there was zeroed out Valerie Cintron for that ringer point. She didn't finish within 20% of Nathan Tsuji's time.
And again, that's very surprising because Valerie isn't just anybody that does this. She is great on her hands and great at that particular movement. So to see her take a loss but also get a 0, and that just shows how good Nathan Tsuji really is over there. So the Sharks definitely have to do some damage control with this Jack and Jill. They need a much needed win out here, and they need a little bit of help on the Brigade side to kind of get them back into it. But they really need something or somebody to light a fire in their butts right now just to finish strong and keep that energy alive.
Absolutely. It's really interesting, too, because there's some people on the Sharks who've probably never lost matches in the regular season. People like Chelsea Raineri, who haven't been here for very long. People like a few others, JC and Jesse Coleman, who've never lost either. So interesting for them as well. Let's go ahead and see what we can look forward to in this particular Jack and Jill.
All right, for the Jack and Jill, we're going to start off with 60 handstand push-ups, going right into 30 10-inch deficit handstand push-ups, and finishing with 10 freestanding handstand push-ups.
That's right. More push-ups, handstand push-ups, more being on your hands. I'm sure we're going to see Nathan Tsuji in here somewhere for this one as well as Chris Chaffee, Marissa Oxenford, who are great at those. Jess Kraisman. I mean, take your pick from the Brigade, and they've just got it.
And like I just said, I'm like, the Sharks need something to light their butts in this Jack and Jill. But when you're going against the Brigade in this Jack and Jill, who's very, very good at this, it's a very tall task, but they got to get it done. They have to get it done. They don't have any other choice.
And the Sharks, you know, they have their options for those as well. They have people like Nick Shappy who are able to do things like that. Sedona Townsend. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing them out on the grid as well. Chelsea Raineri there too.
It's gonna. You're going to see a big momentum shift off of these handstand push-ups. It's 60 reps. It's a lot of volume. You're going to see people do strict. You're going to see people do kipping. But which ones? You're going to see your athletes with the shorter range of motion. That's probably going to be taking the brunt of it. So I think the athlete that can get to the deficit handstand push-ups the best, and if you have 2 people at least that can string along high volume of that 10-inch deficit and get them to the free setting, that's going to be a huge advantage.
100%. Yeah, this is like 45 seconds away from the action. We're looking at those game faces. The Sharks are really trying to keep it together. Their morale is still up. They have some injuries, especially new injuries that are happening today with a few of their athletes and Blake Kidder, who are going to have to come into play later. And I'm sure that we're going to hear about changes coming there, but it's going to be a good one. David Blatt setting up with Kyra Milligan to come out first for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Dan Haberman and Jess Craisman going to come out first for the Tampa Bay Brigade. Once again, it's a 5-point differential for both of these teams. Brigade in the lead.
Referees ready. Players ready. Stand by.
And they're off. Jess Craisman, Dan Haberman for the Brigade, David Black, Kyra Milligan for the Sharks. And they are doing one at a time. David going pretty fast, a little bit faster than Dan on the other side. Shorter range of motion for him. He has his hands in the right spot, but this is a really hard movement. They're both doing it strict, and they really have to cycle them out as quickly as possible. The Sharks remain a few reps ahead here. The Brigade have already transitioned out, and this is a high rep scheme, Taylor, for this movement.
Yeah, and you see both of the guys that are doing a lot of high volume. David is still on the wall. I think he's doing at least 40 or 50 right there. I think he did about 45.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. A set of 45 handstand push-ups, most of them being strict, is absolutely diabolical. Some faults on the other side of the grid for the Brigade, and that's going to leave some room open for Kyra Milligan to finish off for the Sharks. And Sam Martin is going to be starting first for the Tampa Bay Brigade. They are still finishing off those original 60 over there for the Tampa Bay Brigade, and that is pretty surprising considering how everything else has been going. Sam Martin doing a great job of keeping control for those. This is a deficit handstand push-up, and this is a lot harder than a normal one. This is a complete 10-inch deficit. Some people, that's as long as their arms are.
Exactly, and we're seeing Kyra Milligan, the CrossFit Games athlete, who actually came off of a Ringer Point win yesterday, defeating Megan Medeiros in the deficit handstand push-up. So you know that she was going to make lightweight work of that. And Nick Shappy, last year's MVP, is going to set up Chelsea Raineri, which is right now a much-needed comeback for them.
Definitely. Chelsea Raineri already upside down, starting off with those freestanding deficit handstand push-ups. She is faulting out because she is not extending all the way up with her feet in line with her hips. She had them way behind, and I saw her practice them like that as well, but it doesn't matter because they are way ahead, and the Sharks are going to take that Jack and Jill, David Blatt, Chelsea Raineri finishing off for them.
Oh, wow. The Brigade actually made up a lot of time. And they almost made it a little bit closer than the Sharks probably wanted it. Chelsea had a couple of faults on their side. I think Coach Tomas is about to throw a flag.
And I think Tomas is going to call it on Chelsea Raineri's freestanding handstand push-ups, because there might have been a few that they let slide because not to standard.
She did get some faults. And that's what also allowed the Brigade to come back. So I see him tucking it back in.
Yeah.
But they did call Chelsea on some of the faults there because the rules are your hips have to be aligned or on top of your shoulders. So a few of them, Chelsea's hips got pushed back, which the head judge came back around and did fault them. So I think they took away some. And so I think Tomas was didn't think that they caught that, but they did. So he tucked it back in, so I don't think that they're going to worry about it.
Yeah, they're not sure if they want to throw it. They're arguing about it. Chris Chaffee saying it was egregious. He's over there fighting for his team. But it was definitely a tough one to call because there were a few, but who's to say if all of them were counted just because the times were so close. And if it would have made, a definitive change in the race. She was going pretty fast, though, so we'll have to see how that plays out later eventually when they review the times for this match. But in the meantime, we're getting ready for the female triad. You're going to learn about it. We'll be right here.
The triad is the only race in which there is a male and a female version performed separately. It consists of 5 elements, each with 3 stations that must be completed individually. 3 players can be on the grid at any given time. All players can perform at any station and in any order. But all of the designated reps must be performed at each station. All 3 stations of each element must be complete before the team can move on to the next element. The triad is all about player conditioning and managing fatigue across the team. The best strategy ensures players have enough left in the tank for the last element and has backup plans for when things inevitably go wrong. Remember, try to catch your breath in the triad race.
And we're back, friends. We have the players who are going to be doing the fan-voted ringer, which is going to be the med ball handstand walk. Am I wrong?
No, there's legless rope climbs.
Legless rope climbs. We already did that one.
I want to see it again.
Yeah, right? It was so exciting. For the Sharks, it's going to be Kyra Milligan doing those, and for the Brigade, it's going to be Dalton. So that's pretty exciting, pretty interesting.
It's a very interesting choice. Like, I understand definitely having Kyra in there. CrossFit Games athlete. She's going to be strong, able to complete this just fine. But Dalton is probably going to be coming off of the triad. So he's definitely going to be fatigued. He's definitely one of the fastest rope climbers in the league. But seeing how he's going to be feeling right after the triad is going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to, if he's going to lose any speed or not.
Absolutely. Let's see what we can look forward to in this triad.
All right, for the triad, they're going to start off with 14 bar-facing burpees, right into 20 toes to bar, then 10 dumbbell weighted pistols at 30 pounds, and then they have 12 overhead squats at 115 pounds, and then they will finish with a flip sled going the length of the grid with the weight on there is going to be 450 pounds.
That's right, Taylor. 1 minute until the action starts. What do you think the thought is behind not putting Sam Martin in that ringer? Or do you think that they're going to hit a little switcheroo?
Anything's possible. We've been seeing a lot of switch, super wild cards, last minute updates.
Y'all aren't slick.
So
that's the funny part, too.
Exactly.
Like, no, they know they're not safe.
And again, like, Sam is doing a lot of work, and then coming off that triad, don't know if he's going to be fresh. But when you also have a CrossFit Games athlete like Kyra, who is very comfortable with the movement, and the women only have to go up to the, I think it's the 12-foot target, instead of the men, they have to go to a 15-foot target. So it's a shorter climb for the women. So we've seen that in the past where it kind of does favor the women because they don't have to go all the way, and she's going to be fresher as well, too. So I think that is a very smart move on the Sharks.
Absolutely. We saw her do it earlier. But it's going to be different having all that pressure on yourself. As a rookie, like, and going against someone who's really good at it in Dalton Herrero.
Well, she already got 1 W yesterday against Milligan, who's been undefeated in that ringer. So that's already, she already has her confidence high. She's 1-0 right now. Literally, she has nothing to lose. She's a rookie, so if she makes mistakes, she's allowed to make mistakes because she's a rookie. She's still learning. But she is showing herself to be a real strong competitor out there. She's looking great.
Good point, Taylor. I was talking to her earlier, and I was just telling her, wow, you move like you've been, doing this for a while. You know, sometimes games athletes come in here, and they don't compete at the same quality as a lot of people. It's just a different kind of speed. It's a different kind of training. It's a different kind of animal, different standards. So there's so much that goes into that as well.
Exactly. Just because you're a CrossFit Games athlete, like you said, doesn't mean that you're going to be well here. This highlights the specialist. And if you're a CrossFit Games athlete and you specialize a little bit higher in some other areas, you'll be able to shine here.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and look at the action over here on the grid. We're about to do that female triad. Of course, it's female versus female. 3 people on the grid at a time, all of them female, and they are trying their very best to finish all of the elements in a specific station at once. Score is currently 14-10. Brigade with the advantage here. 4-point differential. The Sharks are really going to have to work as there are only 4 more races left. A lot of pressure here on the defending champions.
Players ready. Stand by. Race.
And they're off. Chelsea Raineri, Sedona Townsend, and Sydney Witter over there for the Southwest Florida Sharks. For the Brigade, we're looking at Marissa Oxenford, Jess Kraisman and Isabella Carvalho. They are doing those burpees over that bar. If they touch it, they do have to fix it themselves, so it's really in their best interest to not even make any kind of contact with them.
This is Jess's bread and butter. When I saw they kind of adjusted this triad format a little bit, as soon as I saw that they changed it to burpees, I know Jess is just salivating at this. But they made light work of the burpees here, and now they're going into the toes to bar.
Yep, it's only 20. Your feet have to make contact with the bar, go as quickly as possible. They are taking a little bit of time here, going straight into it. Chelsea Raineri going very fast on these, and she is the first one off the bar. She's going to tag out for someone else, Valerie Cintron, to come in for the next element. Few reps remaining, and you remember your team has to finish all of the reps of one element in every station before moving on to the next. They're on those dumbbell pistol thrusters. Sedona Townsend, Kyra Milligan, Valerie Cintron for the Sharks. For the Brigade, we're looking at Marissa Ockneford, Jocelyn Williams, and someone else over there. Oh, there we go. That's Isabella Carvalho.
Yeah. So they changed up the movements, like I mentioned, a little bit. So these overhead squats is a new addition. It used to be ring muscle ups now, but now going from the pistols to these overhead squats, that is just very rude and disrespectful. But right now you see the Sharks making light work of this, and they really need a strong win there. They did a great job in yesterday's triad against the Lions, and they are looking to build off that to keep that momentum going for the Sharks.
Absolutely. Their overheads are pretty tired here as they're going to go tag out for the next element. Sharks are getting there first, and they're tagging in to start off that flip sled. That flip sled has 450 pounds on it, and they get to use 3 people to push it over. They just can't control it on the way down, or push it on the way down, excuse me.
Yeah, and so I don't know why they were waiting for all 3 women to get down there. The rule is that you can start lifting, but you can only have the people that have already tagged out lift. So the Brigade could have technically started lifting, and then when the 3rd person had tagged out, they could have came in and helped. So
yeah, that was a fatal mistake for the Tampa Bay Brigade as the Sharks took this female triad. A much needed win for them, not only for morale, but for the points, because it's getting closer and closer to them being inched out of this matchup. The Brigade, you know, Rebecca Rouse kind of hesitated, not knowing if she should be going back to the start line for the flip sled ahead of somebody doing the overhead squats. But you know, that communication, that difference in communication, that split second of starting the flip sled first really gave the Sharks the advantage there going into the next one. That's going to close the differential just a bit going into this next race, which is going to be the male triad. We'll be right back.
I'm out here in Maui, Hawaii. One of the reasons is Nick helped train up my coaches. My team is absolutely crushing it.
We've closed 21 out of 25 no sweat intros with over an 84% closing rate.
We have added 18 people within the last 6 weeks to our membership. Our staff has gained a confidence that I don't think we knew that we had within sales.
We help gym owners who are done doing it alone add $15,000 in their revenue in the next 6 months without ever feeling like a slimy salesperson. Find us at pathfindersalescoach.com.
Unlike American football or baseball, where positions are very clearly defined with rules specific to them, Grid League positions are more general. Think of it as a spectrum with a 4-foot gymnast on one end and a 400-pound strongman on the other, with every possible size, shape, and skill set focus filling in the middle. Roles on the grid have a lot of crossover from position to position, and there are many possible combinations that will yield a great team. Grid League has 3 primary player positions or roles on the team. Utility players generally have a wide range of abilities and end up with a diverse set of assignments on the grid. Utility players, although often assigned more total work than specialists, will still focus on their best movements as their means to contribute to the team. The strength specialist role often involves heavier assignments and, depending on the player's background, may be even more focused to individual types of strength movement, such as Olympic weightlifting or strongmen. Most of the super high-skill movements like backward roll to support in deficit, freestanding handstand push-ups are performed by bodyweight specialists. That said, there are several bodyweight specialists that mainly focus on more basic movements, but for big sets and fast cycle rates. Many are gymnasts as well, but even some of the best do not have gymnastics backgrounds, such as former MVP Paul Lays. Learn more about the sport of Grid League at fgl.com/learn.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Nathan Tsuji of the Tampa Bay Brigade, coming off of his win on the ringer, zeroing out your opponent, and a veteran opponent at that. How did that feel, and what were your thoughts going into this on your first ringer?
I mean, I just had a lot of fun. When it comes down to things like this, I grew up as a gymnast. Yes, you're competing against another team. Yes, you're supporting your team. But there's nothing besides potentially the cameraman affecting me from getting from point A to point B. I don't think about where anyone else is, what anyone else is doing. My dad always said, as long as you do the absolute best that you can do, I'll be the most proud parent in the audience. That's dead last or first. And that's all you can ever really ask of yourself, is to do the best that you can do. If that beats someone, great. If that gives us a 3-0, great. But that wasn't my cleanest race. The ball slipped a little bit in the middle. I had to fix it. So I'll be competing against myself next time, hoping to get at least a second faster because there's a little slip up in the middle.
And what's that like? Obviously, you're, social media sensation. I watch all of your stuff on Instagram. It's absolutely insane. So what's it like coming into a sport like this where there's other specialists who kind of do what you do?
I am very happy to say, I think for the first time in my life, I am the weakest person in the room. It's really cool. Every girl on our team can outlift me like nobody's business. I mean, granted, I don't lift. I don't train legs. I just do handstands. So I still have calves. We'll point that out. But I just love having everyone's different specialties in one spot and being able to celebrate that. I told them, I don't touch weights. And they said, great, because we only need you on your hands. They tried to make me move some kettlebells in practice. I almost died. It was hilarious. But the most important thing is just everybody has their own specialty. Everyone pushes each other, and then you come together to form one cohesive unit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Nathan. Good luck on the rest of your match. I'm going to take it to Taylor.
All right, for the men, we're going to start off again with 14 bar-facing burpees, 20 toes to bar, 10 dumbbell-weighted pistols. Their weight is going to be 50 pounds. And then we're going to go into 12 overhead squat at 175 pounds. And then we're going to finish off with an 80-foot flip sled with a weight. It's going to be 630 pounds, flipping the length of the grid.
This is going to be a good one, Taylor. And once again, the Sharks kind of need to hang on to everything that's happening to stay in this match, because right now, if the Brigade take this one, I might be wrong, I have to do the math, but it looks like the Brigade are going to be able to secure the win. There's no more bonus flags in play.
Yeah, they definitely right now is 15-12, still favoring the Brigade right now. So the Sharks are still doing damage control, but they definitely need to put their foot on the gas on the men's side and come out with another W on this and give Kyra an opportunity to put them in reaching room to bring it down to the sprint relay.
Absolutely. Nick Shappy, David Blatt, and Sam Martin coming out for the Sharks. For the Brigade, it's going to be Dalton Herrero, Chris Chaffee, and Alex Hollings. And they're off, starting off with those burpees over the bar. Once again, that is just a PVC pipe on top of there, so it's very easy to kind of bump into it and mess up. Chris Chaffee going really fast, outpacing all of his teammates and all of his opponents. So it looks like he's going to be trying to come out first so he could tag somebody out. You see him on the Tampa Bay Brigade side there in the blue. Over here on the Sharks, they're finishing as quickly as they can as they start having people go into the next element. Nick Shappy finishing up his. But it looks like the Sharks do have the lead going into this one. They did start first, and you have to finish on every single element. But whoa, Dalton Herrero, little bit of a misstep there. They are starting that element, that station really late, and they have to do as many on every element.
We said it earlier that the Sharks, we keep saying that the Sharks need every single point that they can get right now with a little help from the Brigade right now. And Dalton had a little bit of hiccup over there, which is allowing the Sharks to pull ahead. So they have to make sure that they're putting their foot on the gas. They're communicating with each other. There's no hesitation, but they have to be aggressive and take chances and get to that flip sled, because they are very strong on that sled over there, and they kind of take advantage to undersized Brigade man's team.
That's right. There's hands up in the air for the Southwest Florida Sharks as Nick Shappy finishes his, and the Sharks are almost an entire element ahead, maybe half of the element ahead of the Brigade going into this one. They have to do those overhead squats. 1 rep remaining, and that is going to cost them. Oh, man. Yeah, he did a rep, and they faulted that one, so they're going to have to start all over again. Now is when the reps start to count for the Sharks. That gave Brigade just a little bit of leeway to come back for this one.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of hiccup in Zion. Zion had a fall but needed to finish his extra rep. But they had all 3 men working on the bar, and the Brigade had to go sub out, and so that allowed them to finish first. So they are sprinting to the end to get to that bar fast. So right now they have a huge advantage, and again, like we said, doing what they need to do with a little help from the Brigade to get the points that they most desperately need.
That's right. Even though they have a big lead, the times are going to come into play eventually, so they have to finish as quickly as possible. The Brigade finally come to touch the flip sled, finishing off their reps on those overhead squats. The Sharks are already in that 3rd quadrant. This is a nail-biter. It's still anybody's match, as the Sharks are going to secure this male triad in just a second. 2 more reps from them as the Brigade start to make their way down the grid. 1 last rep for the Southwest Florida Sharks, and the Sharks are going to secure their male triad win. Absolutely insane showing from here.
Ooh. I hope Dalton is in the back just getting his grip. I see him already. He's chalking his hands up. He is already locked in for this ringer point right now. So he's resting his forearms. He knows what's at stake right now, but the Sharks needed that right there. And we're going to see Kyra Milligan again come out to see if she can go 2-0 in ringers already this weekend. Oh man.
Yeah, this was a tough one, and this is maybe where we're going to see, you know, somebody secure it, because this is going to be what's going to be showing us what's going to be the score going into sprint relay, and because of that, what is going to be, you know, the outcome of the sprint relay. What are the stakes, essentially? Excuse me.
And this fan ringer point is something that the league just developed this year. And when it happened, I was like, I kind of like this. It gives the fans the opportunity to be a part of the sport. But it also, we've been seeing the fan ringer point actually help dictate either many of the matches or bring teams closer to make the sprint relay worth that much more.
Absolutely. A lot at stake here going into this ringer point. Let's go ahead and pull up the options really quick so we can show you what we're working with for a second. Chelsea Raineri practicing her back handsprings for that sprint relay. Ringer point options here. All right, we are going to be doing that legless rope climb. Men's weight, as you said earlier, is going to be 15 feet all the way up to the metal part of the bar. And the women's height is going to be 12 feet. It's going to be to this little piece of white tape that they have there. So this is going to be a good one. It's going to be 3 total. And male versus female, rookie versus veteran. But of course, the rookie being a CrossFit Games athlete.
Yeah, and the veteran just came off the toughest, the toughest race in the match.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting here. And we're looking at this one. This is what you voted for at home. Sorry, it's a really big circle. I'm working with a screen that's not working right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at those game faces as we go into this. It's going to be, once again, Dalton Herrero versus Kyra Milligan, specialist on specialist. And this one with, I believe, about 61% of the votes. So that is the biggest that we've seen so far. Yeah, people really wanted to see this one. And I think people were expecting Sam to come out for this one as well.
We were saying that, but we also knew that there was going to be probably the chance that Sam and Dalton may not come out because they both were in the men's triad. But we were seeing definitely Dalton is going to be the Brigade's best choice, and also arguably one of the fastest rope climbers in the league there. He's going against Kyra Milligan, which again, not a bad choice. She only has to go to the white tape, which is 12 feet, so a shorter range of motion. So let's see how fast she can come down on that rope. We already know Dalton can come down fast, and how much time do they spend on the floor as well too. So let's look at that reaction, Steve.
Definitely, it's a tough one, and we're gonna see how this turns out now. If the Brigade win this, they kind of take away the match, If the Sharks win this, they still have a chance going into the sprint relay. Right now, the score is currently 16-14. Let's see if somebody zeroes out here even.
Oh my
Because you have to finish within 20% to even receive that 1 point, since there's no time cap. So we're going to find out in just a second. Taking a look at those game faces here on the grid. Taylor, what do you think we're looking at specifically when we see them do these rope climbs?
I'm looking at their descent, how fast each athlete comes down, and also how much time that they're spending on the ground. We already know that Dalton, he uses the rebound technique, meaning as soon as the feet touches the ground, he rebounds and quickly gets back into his climb. And so this is Kyra's first time doing it, and we don't know if she is comfortable with that rebound yet. We know she's a strong rope climber, so we'll be looking at that.
A lot of pressure on these two athletes. Kyra to keep her team in the game, Dalton to secure the win against the team that they lost against in the playoffs last season to get to that championship match. And of course, the Sharks who won the championship match. A lot at stake here. Let's take a look.
Stand by. Race.
Dalton Herrero, Kyra Milligan. Dalton is at the rope first, and he is already up and down before she even starts her first rep. He is going really fast. She rested too long on the ground. This is a ringer point race. He is finishing his last rep, and that is a Tampa Bay Brigade win for the ringer point. Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Dalton. His name is Herrero. I call him Dalton Hero.
Yeah.
That guy is a dog.
He absolutely is. He just completely dominated and did that so fast. But it looks like there may be something with the referees happening right now. We're going to find out in a second. But Dalton absolutely crushed that undisputable way that he did.
That was awesome. And we're going to see if Kyra was within that 20% rule. I know Dalton did a little bit of showboating at the end, but I would love to see him, especially in the ringer, finish a little bit faster because that 20% rule is important. So if he would have finished faster and he got that zero, that would have probably solidified their win. But so we'll see if she was still within.
In other races, you know, maybe
showboat.
Okay, you know, like the Jack and Jill that the Lions do, that they just like hold hands,
do a
they
little
run into the
backflip
finish
or whatever.
line. Yeah, but
in the ringer, get your butt out.
Yeah, you got to get out of there.
Get your butt out, then show.
But he is such a hero for his team,
great.
so shout out to him. We're going to go ahead and tabulate that score. Lots to look forward to going into this next one. Don't go anywhere. The stakes are high.
The sprint relay is the final race of every match and is worth an extra point for the race win. It is a relay race with one player allowed on the grid at a time and 8 elements to perform. Any player can perform on any element, and substitutions can happen at any time, except when a player performs the last rep of an element. In that case, the player must run back to the start line, perform a 4-point touch behind the start line, and sprint through to the finish line, permanently leaving the race. The next player may enter once the previous one has crossed the finish line. The only exception is the distance element that ends at the finish line with no sprint back required. The catch is, 4 men and 4 women must finish the 8 elements. The sprint relay is a great balance of strategy to decide which players in what order are the best combination, along with clean and well-executed elements by the players, to lead to the best race outcome for the team. Remember, 4 men and 4 women must finish the 8 elements in the sprint relay.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Dalton Herrero of the Tampa Bay Brigade. You just came off of a ringer win against a CrossFit Games athlete. How are you feeling going into that? How confident were you?
I was pretty confident. It's been 2 years since we've had this ringer. Finally, they brought it back this year. Yeah, I mean, that race just won us the match. Kicked the Sharks out of playoffs, put us in the playoffs, so, I mean, that's all you can ask for.
And you went against this team last year in the playoffs. It was pretty close, but now this time you absolutely came in and you dominated. Were you expecting that going against an opponent like the Sharks who won the championship last season?
No, I don't think you come in and expect to dominate this race. Like I said, they threw their bonus flag on ladder. We were just trying to stay within 10 on ladder so we didn't get zeroed. We just so happened to win. Everything's been coming together really well for us. Shout out Nathan on the handstand walks. I mean, incredible. Yeah.
And as you approach playoffs, what is your team's mentality and how are you guys keeping it together to try your very best to get to that end game that I know you guys want, which is the championship?
Yeah, I mean, things were pretty low after the first race. It seemed like playoffs were kind of far-fetched almost. Like, we knew we had to play the Sharks. This core hasn't ever beat the Sharks, right? So I mean, now we're one race away from finishing the job and going to playoffs. Yeah, I don't know what's in store for us next.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dalton. Good luck on the rest of your match, and we'll be right back.
All right, for the sprint relay, we're going to finish up with 20 wall balls to a 10-foot target at 20 pounds. Then we're going to go into 15 overhead squats at 185 pounds, right into back handspring plus 4-point touch, 40 feet, and then an 80-foot handstand walk going the length of the grid. Then we're going to go into 6 deck to pullovers, followed by 12 dumbbell hang snatches at 40 pounds, 9 burpee to 9-foot 9-inch ring, and finish up with 8 clean and jerks at 225 pounds.
Woo, a lot to be spoken about here together. I mean, where do we even start for what's happening here in this match?
Oh, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about this weekend.
Yes.
I can't wait for all the recap shows, the recap of all the recaps.
Absolutely. Shout out to Jason and to so many who do all the hard work. Shout out to Daniel, who couldn't be here today as well. A big part of our team personally. So this is going to be a good one. 3 points differentiate them. As long as the Brigade finish, even if the Sharks win, it is going to be a Brigade win. So, I mean, anything could happen, you know, if they just have to, like, finish and win. So a lot to be said about that, and we're going to see how that plays out in just a second. This is a hard sprint relay, and this is the first time we're seeing it today. So talk to me a little bit about the format and what we can expect going into this, especially with both of these teams being so fatigued.
It is, but the Sharks still have to finish strong because we still don't know what's going to happen after yesterday's Brigade and Breakers match. So we still have to see how that shakes out to see who really is going to be in the playoffs there. But there's a lot to unpack in the sprint relay. And some of the bottlenecks I'm looking at is first the most obvious one, the burpee to 9-foot 9-inch. So that one is always going to be a game changer there, having somebody that's efficient, proficient enough, and fast enough to do a burpee, jump up, and gently touch the ring clearly. And if you miss it, you have to repeat that whole movement. We've seen that decide races and matches so many times. So I'm going to be looking there. And then also these overhead squats. It's a heavy-ish, but just enough just to kind of shake things up and see and put one team in the lead to give them a little bit more of an advantage. But you have to make sure you're clearly opening up those hips. So there's a couple of things to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of things that happen on those overhead squats are also the extension of the hips at the top, not just the depth. So that's what we really look for. You have to stand up all the way, almost kind of like pelvic thrust into the air, essentially, is what I like to call it.
Exactly, because they're looking for those overhead squats. These guys can easily do it, but hitting the standards, this is one of the most picked-on movements for athletes to complete.
Definitely a lot on the line here. The Brigade have to at least finish this race in order to get the win against the Sharks, who are the champions of 2025. So we're going to find out how this is going to go in just a second. Sydney Witter looking like she's going to be coming out here first. Someone else coming out for the Brigade. A lot of times you see the men do the first part and then the women do the last rep, because there have to be 4 men, 4 women crossing the finish line. Sydney Witter, Kayla Hollings getting ready to come out here. 20 wall balls at 20 pounds to a 10-foot target. Same thing for both ladies. Looks like Sydney Witter is getting the ball back faster than Kayla Hollings is. She's hitting the target a little bit more defiantly, which is going to give her the lead for the ball to come back down a little faster.
Exactly, and we've been talking about Sydney all day. Such a versatile, tall, long athlete, extremely strong, but she can also do the body weight stuff. So this movement definitely pairs her. But Kayla, she is very strong with the wall balls, and she's just within. They're about neck and neck. So this is going to definitely come out to a foot race.
And them their back. Kayla Halling, Sydney Witter hitting the start line and going to the finish line. Sydney Witter just slightly ahead as Zion Zafra comes out for those overhead squats. He has great depth for a male, especially of his size. Dan Haberman as well, but Dan Haberman, a little bit of a stumble there, giving the Sharks the lead going into this next one. A few reps so far there. Dan Haberman was also nursing a knee injury going into yesterday's match and today's match, and having to do a lot more work when he wasn't supposed to be on the roster originally.
Yeah, exactly. Dan Haberman, he was a reserve, so he wasn't even looking to play. He just was trying to heal his knee and possibly come back maybe towards the latter end. But after them coming down with their injuries from the other athletes, he had to come back up. But right now, it opened up an opportunity for the Sharks to pull ahead.
Absolutely. Rebecca Rouse going ahead and finishing off. Chelsea Raineri doing those back handsprings and finishing off as well. And there is a handstander on the grid. That's going to be Valerie Cintron. Marissa Oxenford struggling a little bit on her back handsprings as she goes into the finish line. Not sure why Rebecca Rouse didn't do the back handsprings today. We're going to have to find that out later. Valerie Cintron is going to go ahead and finish off as Nathan Tsuji gets into that handstand walk. He is already in the third quadrant, making up some of the time lost for the Tampa Bay Brigade, as David Blatt is doing really well on these pullovers here. Yeah, you just saw Nathan Tsuji just literally sprint across the grid here. But what you're seeing right now is probably two of some of the shortest athletes doing a deck to pullover and making it look so easy and effortless with Chris Chaffee and David Blatt. That was so much fun. Absolutely. Chris Chaffee is keeping a great pace here and able to keep it the entire time, giving his team just a little bit, closing that gap up just a little bit more. Sedona Townsend doing the barbell movements. She's usually on those, those dumbbell kettlebell movements we usually see her on here. Yeah, so this one is a dual dumbbell snatch. So you see the athletes both utilizing the dumbbells coming in between their legs. They're going to have to jump and drive their hips through and punch up and pull it down. So it takes a lot of hip power and core strength to be able to cycle through this. Absolutely. Sedona Townsend is out of there as Isabella Carvalho finishes up her reps, but that's going to bring out Sam Martin for his reps on that burpee to touch. You have to make contact with the ring, but you don't want to swing it because you really need to make sure that you're hitting them on time. Sam is really good at these, and you can see just his height is able to help him as well, and as well as how springy he is. Garrison Matthews as well, very good at these too. Yeah, and Garrison just needs to take his time and just make sure that each rep counts, because they just need to finish. As long as they don't get a zero, which I don't really see, or just God forbid anything happens, I don't see that happening, they will take this. But the Sharks is doing what they need to do to just finish out this match strong. Absolutely, and that is a swing out of there as Garrison Matthews finishes up his reps, but it's already Roderick Holloway on that last barbell for the Southwest Florida Sharks. It's just about run away from, but the Brigade are finishing as the Sharks are finishing off this sprint relay. Few reps remaining here. Alex Hollings joining Roderick Holloway at the fourth quadrant, trying to go as quickly as possible. He's having to drop the bar a little bit, but he knows he has time. There's about a minute left on the time cap as Roderick Holloway finishes his last rep. He's gonna 4-point touch, and that is a race win for the sprint relay for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Alex Hollings, 45 seconds, 2 reps remaining. A lot of confusion about whether or not he finished, but it looks like they are finishing off. And the Brigade are going to actually win the match since they finished within the time cap and got that 1 point. They needed that, so they thought they had one more rep left. I was truly hoping that they didn't, because they had only 30 more seconds left, and we could have been seeing them come into a gridlock. But they definitely did what they came to do. They had a little scare on the second half, but they took both bonus flags and had a strong middle half, in front half, and they had upset the defending champs. Absolutely. I think they were checking something out really quick, because it looks like there was a confusion on the last few reps of how many needed to be done, because she had the wrong amount of fingers in the air, but I guess they did the right amount of reps, which would be a referee error. It looks like they're starting to high five, but they're still reviewing a few things just to make sure that the right number of reps were done. So give us just a second to figure that out. In the meantime, we're looking at those happy faces on the grid. I'm sure the Tampa Bay Brigade are absolutely ecstatic to come off of a win against the champions of 2025. I'm going to say it's like half happy faces.
I seen some questionable faces on the Sharks side, but I get it. I get it. This sport, you're passionate about it. Like you spend a lot of time and energy, devote your life into this, into your team here, and they just finished winning the championship. So we could potentially be seeing the last time we see the Sharks this season. Don't know. We have to figure out again what happens between the Breakers and the Brigade after this weekend. But it was such a great fun match to end.
Extremely exciting match. It looks like the Brigade are going to secure that match 1 point ahead of the Southwest Florida Sharks, and that is the official ruling. So the Brigade win this match, and the Sharks are going to take that L today, unfortunately for them. But great match nonetheless. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Cassie Martinez.
And I'm Taylor Stallings.
We'll see you in just a bit.